much.
We I did at one point like create a list of questions for us to fall back on if we didn't have a subject for the pre-show. They were like, "What are you doing in your garden?" But like things other than
Oh,
what we would
you
cover
know
in
what?
what's growing on.
I
I
like
wonder
that.
where those are. They're
You know
probably
what
in
I have?
Google
Okay.
Drive somewhere.
Do you want to know a fun little once upon a time? I mean, I still have this kind of hope, but when I first started getting into podcasting, this was years ago, starting to listen to podcasts, I thought that seems like a fun way to stay in touch with my siblings or my friends. Maybe I can do a fun little jokey, conversational, really nothing deeper behind it sort of thing. And so I got these these are conversational gaming cards, and I'm not joking, they've
Right.
been sitting in the drawer right next to me for like 5 years. So like this is called Say Anything. So it's like, in my opinion, what magical power would be the coolest to have? Okay, well that feels like a very sure. I mean, it's not a bad question. Like that,
I was
honestly, that's a
thinking about
very
that the other day. I have an
really.
answer to that.
Oh my god!
I want
See,
to remember everything I read.
whoa! Oh wow! Like you want to be able to index and catalog and sit. Like, what is your interpretation of what that power means? Just like a
That
perfect
after
recall?
I've read an amazing nonfiction book and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I have to tell you what I just read about, I actually get all the details right forever.
Okay, so that to me, I would reword it as perfect recollection. Perfect recollection. So perfect recall, but specifically in accordance to something that you have read. So if you've read it,
Yeah.
you can perfectly remember it and recall it, but
Mhm.
not necessarily events that have transpired in reality. It's if you've read it. So that is the limitation of
Yeah.
your power, because there has to be a limit. There has to
Yes.
be. But that's
Yeah.
interesting.
I don't want perfect recall of life events anyway. That seems like it would make your brain way too crowded. Some people have that, and I don't think they have
Uh,
normal lives.
yeah, but also, oh my gosh, can I imagine? Okay, long term, let's say you have perfect recall of everything that you've ever read. And so as a result, you've led a life of reading fiction and nonfiction and fantasy and sci-fi, everything. You've read most of your life. You're a super fast reader as a result, because that's a skill. That's, to me, reading is kind of like a muscle that you if you do it. Anyways, let's move on.
And I don't have to go slow to retain it.
Exactly, exactly. Um, so I feel like in your old age, if you develop any sort of like dementia-esque, and then you'd have perfect recall, but the inability to distinguish between fiction and nonfiction. What, you don't
I would
remember the
be
time?
the most interesting person in the nursing home. They'd be like, "So, what was your childhood like?" I'm like, "Well, I was a cabin boy on a pirate ship," and
I
give them
like it.
all the
That's
details about it.
And every day you'd have new stories. Are you kidding
Yeah,
me? That'd be
that'd be the
great.
best.
So
They
what
would
did
love
you do
me.
last night? Well, let me tell you.
And if my eyes still worked, I could still be reading and absorbing new things. Do we have matching mugs today?
All you need is tea and warm socks.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This is Eva's mug. Did you, where did you get it?
Oh, I've had it for years.
So is Eva. So I maybe it was gifted to her. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
you
I
gave it
think
to
it's
her.
from
I don't know.
Indigo.
Oh, okay. You know what? Yeah, if it's a standard indigo mug,
Yeah,
could have been any
yeah.
of the
I think
parents
someone
or
gave it to me for my bridal shower.
oh, okay. Cool. I like
That'd
this.
be
I like that I
2015.
can pull out this card. There are 5 questions on it, and I have a stack of this card, and then I have different stacks of different thematic types of stuff. But cool. I like that. That's we can do that. We can do that as a fun
Yeah.
pre-show. Heck, we could even turn that
Do you
into
want
a
to know
second
why?
podcast. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's not.
The reason I thought about that, remembering what I read thing, was because of the podcast. I finished Elspeth Hayes' book.
Oh, how'd it
And
go?
oh,
You feel free to spoiler
life
because I
changing,
haven't dug
mind
into it yet.
blowing. Can I
Yeah,
go
that's
ahead
good.
and book that without you reading it?
I mean, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Depending, like, I need pressure to
Mm,
put things into a priority triage. Right now, I have
yeah.
1,001 things going on right now, and I see winter is coming, and I have to I so if I know that she's coming on in a month, be like, great, I'm gonna do something somewhere. I have to now prioritize it a little bit higher than what I did before. So I need that.
Sure.
That is yeah. I also tend to do that to myself sometimes. I make declarations publicly, like on a podcast, that I
Yeah.
have to hold myself accountable. It's good though. It's actually, yeah. Also, I'm gonna have to start carrying around a little book with me because I, despite the meds, the ADHD upgrade, I am still so, you know, I forget. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea, but it's
Yeah.
not what I'm doing right now. So I just kind of put it aside, and then you know, I find that I don't know every. It's a weird way to phrase this, I suppose, but it's true. I am constantly evaluating what I am doing and what has to get done. That there's a part of my brain that is constantly triaging, and that takes a huge percentage of my brain capacity. Is just like, which is it's I feel like that's a skill that is developed because of my job. I go to a
Right.
property and I have to do so much and I only have so much time that you have to prioritize. And oh, did something change? Great. Now I have to do this. Oh, did they ask you to
Yeah.
get this done first? Oh, well, unfortunately, okay, I have to go do that now. Yeah. Sorry. I talked for a while. I just rambled on a bunch of different directions.
No.
I didn't
I
answer the
also
question.
talked for a while. This is a place where we talk.
That's true.
No, but yeah, that's an important skill, especially because like
Whoa.
my
Your volume just went up too. It's good.
predilection is to just like do the task in front of me, even if it's not the most important one. And I have to force myself sometimes. Like right
That
now, I've got 10 critiques to do for authors, and they're due on October 18th. And I was like, I have to, get to these. I have
Yeah.
done half of them now. And I had to force myself to stop and do something that's actually due sooner, now that I know how quickly I can do them.
Oh, yeah.
But it
Yeah,
was
no,
very
that's a good
hard to
point.
do.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that your actual job.
Yeah.
um I saw a TikTok from an author who's like, I've written 2 books and they're for free on Kindle, but like I'm looking for positive or constructive feedback from people who are polite. Um, can I give my books to someone who would be polite? And I was gonna tag you, and then I thought, I don't know. I don't. Maybe I'll
No
talk to you
time.
about it first. Yeah, exactly. And also, I'm pretty sure she described them as fantasy smut, and I was like, I don't know if that's Aaron's vibe. So
I don't enjoy smut and I don't enjoy yearning, so a lot of romance is just not my cup of tea.
that's fair.
I also don't like people making dumb decisions, and a lot of romance seems to turn
Oh
on
my
that.
gosh, yeah. That's
So, yeah.
yeah. That's a level of in a lot of media, movies and TV shows and stuff. Eva can't watch most things because it hinges on why did you do that one stupid decision? And
Yeah. Yeah.
like I
And then lean
really,
into
really,
it.
really try. Yeah. And I really try to broaden my perspective to try and justify it somehow. But there are times when like, nope, I'm done. I can't. This is that was just dumb, and you're doubling down on the no, I can't. It's
Yeah.
ugh. Or the social
Yeah.
awkwardness sometimes, like, oh, I feel it. I feel the social awkwardness. Like, no,
Yes. Yes, the
can't
secondhand
do it.
embarrassment is too much. Sophie
Yeah.
enjoys a lot of like sitcom-y shows. Or
Okay.
maybe not sitcom exactly, but I don't know, the standard
Slice of
fare
life.
from television that's like okay, I'll even soap opera-y stuff like Grey's
Oh.
Anatomy, but
Oh,
so
okay. Okay.
like you know, it's all about people being emotional and causing problems that they then have to solve.
Yeah.
And, like, now she's
Yeah.
watching Boston Legal. There's just too high a threshold for secondhand embarrassment in these shows, and I can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
I feel
so
bad
I'll
that I
be
can't do
honest.
it.
Yeah. When I was younger, my mom used to not watch TV. She would buy TV shows. This is in the early days before streaming, when they had box sets
Yeah.
of whatever. So she had all of them, like all the CSIs, all the Law and Orders,
Wow.
like, and just have them running on repeat in the background. Just flip in a new disc, whatever. And like I did watch them, and I was curious, and it was interesting, and it was entertaining. And I can't remember at what point in time, but I realized the level of exaggeration, but then the danger of the outright science fiction of those sorts of things, that I'm just like, ooh, no. When you're talking about a medical show or a legal show, and the legal, and like, I get it and it's interesting,
Yeah.
but it's also wrong. Like, it's based completely on a falsehood. And so, unfortunately, recently, my algorithm, good old algorithm, realized that I like that stuff, but I like it when it's real. And so it's feeding me Judge Judy. And God damn it, if it isn't, it's so captivating. These are real people. And
Yeah.
it really puts your life into perspective when you see these people are fighting over whatever, or like, this actually happened. This isn't a fantasy. This isn't fiction. This is I'm like, what is that? And it really makes you think about, I don't know, people, society, the world.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe these people went to court over $200. Are you kidding me? That's
Yeah, really. That's petty. Gotta pay
oh
more
oh
than that.
yeah. Some of them are, they're, and it makes me feel grateful for the people that I know, because I'm like, I don't know anyone
Yeah.
who's that heartless. Like, that is petty to an extreme. Did you really think you were gonna?
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry, I'm speaking generically without giving details, but yeah. I'm gonna backtrack for a quick second, and then I'm gonna tell you the wild day that I had yesterday, because that was weird. But backtracking, my answer to the question, what magical power would be the coolest to have? I've thought about that a billion, bajillion, infinity times. I think every power has a significant pro and unfortunate con, but I think that if you plan it accordingly, if you can, there's a creative way that you could use it, that, depending on what it is, but like pretty much anything would be super cool. And so that's why I love shows like Hunter x Hunter, where they have a particular skill set that's kind of a
Yeah.
magical power, that and like, because it's so diverse and unique. Like, this is my skill, and this is how I've chosen to use it. I'm like, whoa, that's I never thought about that. Anyways, telekinesis, because
Hmm.
I know it's a cliche perhaps, but the ability to move things with
Useful.
your mind, yeah. And what I think the problem is, it for me, when I think about that sort of stuff, is it raises questions of like, what are the limits? Is it strength based? Is there a weight limit? How far? Is there a distance? Like, is it a proximity thing? Like, can I
Yeah.
do landscaping? Can I, you know what? Like, can I literally rip up a 50-year-old tree and just gently put it off to the side?
Can
You
you
know,
clean your gutters when you can't see the leaves inside them?
Okay, visibility, line sight, sight of line.
Line of
What's
sight.
the word? Line of sight. Sight of line of sight. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's like line
That
of
thing.
vision. Wait, huh? Yeah, is that a thing? Or can you close your eyes and still you do? What about yourself? Can you telekinetically fly? Can you move yourself? Because then you're also
Yeah.
moving your own proximity radius. Like, I don't know. I just thought that I think it would be cool, and I think that it could be something kind of like your reading skill that would be developed sort of like a muscle, so that your limitations would basically be, like a muscle weakness. You'd have to work on it. That's all. It wouldn't
Yeah.
be a creativity or a strength base. Yeah. Anyways, that's all. That's
This leads me to ask, do you prefer hard magic systems over soft?
Oh, what do you
Wh-
mean?
Where the
What's
author has basically treated magic like a science and worked out the specifics of how everything
mm.
works, and you, as the reader or the audience, gets to understand that, as opposed to it's vibes. We kind of get the gist of what's going on, but it's never explained.
So interesting. I like a foundation, I suppose. That would be more of a hard magic thing. But I am also of the opinion that um, your limitations are your creativity. And so there might be rules, but like everything else in life, there are exceptions. And I don't think everybody knows enough to know what those exceptions are. So I think it'd be more, I respect hard guidelines. Here's what we understand is the magic system. However, there's always going to be people testing the limits, trying to bend the rules, pushing science, or in this case, magic science, um, to whatever the limitations. I like that. General vague vibes would be, in my opinion, the same thing, but without the level of um, measurement, for lack of a better word, of guidelines. Like, I feel like they're all the same, but they're just not far enough in the uh, dissection of why it works that way. There probably are rules and guidelines. It's just they don't care enough to write them down, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Or they're not that far yet in the society. Maybe
That's
yeah.
it's just a thing that came to mind.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a good example of vibes-based magic, soft
Lord of the
rules.
Rings. Who knows
Oh,
how that stuff works? Oh, and here's a good example in Star Wars, which it's not science fiction, it is science fantasy. That is a fact. The Force acts like magic, right? So in the original trilogy, that was a soft magic system. We didn't know
yes.
what was going on. But then they were like, oh, it's about, what was the word? Midichlorians?
Metachlorians.
Midichlorians in the blood. They tried to make it a
And
hard magic system. It was not a
Mike,
good idea.
yeah, nanoparticles in the air, in the
Yeah.
world. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes
So,
soft is better.
yeah.
Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's really fun to get really nerdy about it, but you have to make your decision early.
I think if it's a soft magic system, you have to commit to that. You have to
Yeah.
leave enough questions unanswered and be okay with that. And like, oh, you can move stuff with your mind. And that was my understanding of the Force, and that's basically it. But then they're like, oh, but it also can kind of guide you. It's like the flow of life and time and goodness and what should be done. And I'm like, oh, okay, so there's like a mystical component to it. So it's not just like an extension of my psychic abilities. It's like actually some sort of underlined interconnectedness of the universe vibes,
Yeah.
which is cool. But I
Yeah.
liked how what was it? There was a sci-fi series or maybe a fantasy series, I don't remember, where the magic was it was a magic science hybrid where it was scientists who tapped into dark matter, and
Mm.
they're like they it went I think it was written based on um there was a paper that said dark matter comprises 90% of matter in the universe or something like that. We
Yeah.
only see and feel 10% of what is actually real. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I can't say whether that's right or wrong. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is the premise. And therefore, some people somehow, consciously or unconsciously, can tap into 90% of the universe or a part of that 90% somehow in some way. And I'm like, that's interesting. And that's both hard and soft. Like, we have a rough explanation of what's happening, so we know what's happening, but we don't know how or why. I'm like, great.
Yeah.
I like it. Leaves it open.
Yeah. I like that too.
Yeah. So
So,
somewhere in the middle.
before we run out of time, what
Oh yeah.
was the story of your day?
My goodness. So okay. I'm gonna try and keep it vague. I don't think anyone of significance would watch this, but you never know, the future. I have a client who is coming up. They are a cottager. It's a cottage. I do cottage maintenance. I do property maintenance. Usually, what I do for context is outside mowing gardens, washing windows if they ask me to, cleaning the whatever. But I do property maintenance. This one particular client was only up once before this season. Stuff happened, busy life, whatever. But for the past couple of years, they've pretty much only come up once a year. It's just kind of the way life works out. They want to come up more, but they don't. Anyways, and they're like, "Hey," they didn't tell me that they were coming up this past in the summer, and I was like, "Hey, they said, oh, I thought we told you," and I said, "Sorry, no, you didn't, but it's okay. Like, I understand they're going through some stuff, and I totally understand." So I was like, I don't, as long as you're not mad that the lawn wasn't mowed, like I'm not mad. It's all good. Enjoy your time.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, a couple weeks ago, they're like, "Hey, we're coming up. A day coming up, actually, today." And I'm like, "Great, cool. I'll make sure that everything is ready." So in my mind, I was like, I do the outside stuff, and I know there's somebody else who does the inside stuff. But unfortunately, last year, there were a couple of significant changes. The actual person that I was dealing with for years, my client, had passed away this year, and last year, kids started to take over the management, or rather, the bills. And they had somebody else doing some renovations, and the renovations person hired someone to clean before they showed up. So the person who usually does the cleaning showed up to clean, but somebody else was doing it. And so there was a big kerfuffle. And then the kids were like, "Hey, you do the property maintenance. We want you to manage what's going on around here." And I said, "Great." So I will tell them, come do the cleaning. I will tell, whatever. But then this year, they said, "Hey, we're going to have the person who used to do it come back and do it." I'm like, "Okay, great." So that was where I was at. I assumed that they had contacted the person to come in and do the cleaning. And so a couple of days ago, I came around to do a last minute, blow the leaves and stuff, because, it's that time of year. And just to be safe, I opened the doors and I checked in. I'm like, oh, this place is dusty. It's dank. The windows have been closed. the fridge was unplugged. Like I think it was left the way that it was left from the summer. So I was like, oh my God, was I supposed to contact them? Because I was, I was supposed to, but then I was told I wasn't supposed to. But then I'm like, oh shoot, I don't have their number. I have no way of contacting them. So you know what? Rather than just being like, hey, client, I forgot to do this. Instead, I was like, I'll do it. I can clean. So I rearranged my schedule, and yesterday morning went out and got some cleaning materials. I just got surface spray, window spray, and I already had I have a vacuum, I have a mop. I figured, okay, I'll spend the day, I'll clean the inside, and then if I have extra time, I'll do a little bit extra on the outside. I'll use my extendable pole thing to get the spider webs and whatever. And so I did that. And I also went what I consider to be above and beyond. I got them some fall decorations. I brought them some of my chicken's eggs, so they have a carton of fresh eggs in the fridge. I also left them a note saying that they're fresh, they're not from the summer. I even had a candle going in both of the buildings, like an apple pie candle, so that I opened the windows and I had the candle going so it would smell a little nicer. And so I did the kids' bunkie and I did everything. I dusted, I swept, I mopped, I vacuumed, I wiped the surfaces, not in that order, but I did everything. And then I went down to the main cottage. And when I went inside, I was like, well, that's weird. There's a garbage bag here that wasn't here yesterday. And inside the garbage bag was a bunch of paper towels, but like they weren't dirty paper towels. It was like, I don't know. So I'm looking around. I'm like, did somebody show up since yesterday? But they're not here. There's no vacuum. They didn't dust. Did they hire someone? Wait, did that other person show? Like, what is happening? I don't know. And so I said, well, I mean, I've already spent half the day cleaning up the kids' bunkie. I might as well continue this. I don't know if they hired someone who showed up and did a little bit and then didn't finish. I don't understand. And so I dusted the whole place. I set up the decorations. I started to wipe the surfaces. I started to clean the windows. And I'm in the bathroom scrubbing the glass door because that was disgusting. And I have my headphones on, and my mom's had just called me. So I'm on the phone with my mom with noise canceling headphones on. And I hear, hello, like very hectic. And I was like, oh, did they just show up? Oh, did my clients show up a day early? I'm panicking. So I hang up on my mom. I had to call her back and apologize. And then I come out and I'm like, what's going on? And it was the previous cleaning lady who had showed up with a handful of cleaning products in both of her hands. And she said, what are you doing here? What do you mean? What am I doing here? I do the property maintenance. Remember, like we've interacted before, maybe not this year, maybe not last year because of stuff, but like, yeah, what are you doing here? Because at this point in time, it was like well into the afternoon. We're talking like 2:30, 3 o'clock. And she just shows up then to clean all of the cottages. Like how quick do you think you could do it? But also how long? Also, were you going to just stay here until like 10 o'clock at night? Like what anyways.
Maybe she was.
And maybe she was. And that's none of my concern. That's none of my business. And so I made a couple of assumptions. That was my mistake, I guess. But also, anyways. And so she left. But like I kind of stopped. She started to leave and she was like heartbroken. And she was like, no, you're doing a much better job than you're clearly doing a more thorough job than I would have done. I wasn't going to clean the windows. I wasn't going to blah, blah, blah. You're doing great. You brought decorations, you brought a candle, like you're doing fantastic. I'll tell them you did a great job. I'm like, no. I am not interested in taking someone else's work. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to get it done because they're coming here in the morning. They should be here right now as we do this recording. They should be there. And so I said, you can take over and you can send them your bill for however long you're here, and I will reach out to them and explain the situation. That's my mistake. I will, you know, um,
Yeah.
yeah, and that happened, and then I went outside and did the spider webs and stuff like that because it's an old um, log cabin, so there's a lot of cracks and stuff where the spiders like. Anyways, it was such a weird. I made a few assumptions. I feel like I did the safe thing, but also, yeah, my bad. Um,
Yeah.
and then I found some weird stuff. Like the window was off. One of the windows was just not in the window. It was inside the basement.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it was, yeah. Did an animal push the window in? Like, if somebody tried to break in this way, did they try to put the window? Like they couldn't. The basement doesn't connect upstairs. Like it's a whole separate
Oh.
entity. It has its own
So
outside
maybe
door.
someone did break in
Maybe
and
someone
was
did break in.
disappointed.
Exactly. But they couldn't steal anything anyways because it used to be used for storage. And then did they try and put the window back on their way? I don't know. Like, so it was weird. And then, yeah, I had to go home, get my leaf blower because it rained last night. So despite the fact that I blew the other day, or the day before rather, it looked like it wasn't touched. So I'm like, great, I have to do it again. And
It was a heavy rain.
It was, yeah. And so, yeah, it was just a weird. And then all day, my D&D group was like, hey, we're good to go. We're good to go. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good to go. Sure. Meanwhile, I'm panicking because I know I still have to finish the edit. Like, when am I going to do this? I'm going to be late again. Aaron's going to be mad at me. I know you're not. I know you're not going to be mad. I know. But I do feel really bad and guilty if I'm behind at anything. But I got it done. And you said there was no corrections to be made.
No corrections.
A little spoiler for anyone who's still watching right now. If Aaron, I don't know, if Aaron sends me little corrections, it's fine. It's great. And it takes me another 10 minutes. I'll go back in, do the adjustments, send it back to her. Great. But if there are no corrections, I'm just like, yeah. I don't know. I give myself a gold star. Also, I'm glad that you stayed to the end and you caught the last little sound.
Yes.
That was perfect. Yeah. I was thinking about that because Jerusalem artichokes have so many different nicknames that we could potentially have a very simple drawing of a Jerusalem artichoke with the tubers on the bottom and just have like the background, just like different fonts of names. And then at the very bottom, just say like fartichokes, but like the whole thing, it would just be like sun taters, sun chokes. Anyways.
Jesus Ujibik.
Was it that? I didn't
Having
catch that.
recorded this episode 3 times, at least it has solidified the Anishinaabe name in my head. Jesus Ujibik.
Oh, good. Nice. Oh, we need to get more representation soon. I was going to reach out to somebody about that. I had a connection. I have
someone in mind. I've just been exhausted and I can't think about booking interviews, but I have to.
Yeah.
We're finally out of them.
I mean, yeah, we have 2 emergencies, but also we have a couple promising return people, a couple of new people. We just have to book it. And then we have to come up with, if anyone's watching this, by the way, we're going to do a year-end wrap-up episode where we send a question to some of our guests that we've had this year, and they'll send us hopefully about 5 minutes of a response or less. And that way we have a little bit of everybody in it. So far, everybody said yes. And I sent a question. I reached out to the Georgian Bay Biosphere because I was trying to talk to Delana. And she had just stepped out, and so I had a quick question, and they were like, "Hey, that's brilliant. I love that question. That's great. Now I can send her that question." Or we also have a birder who's like a professional birder in our office. Um, do you want to talk to her? And I'm like, sure, yeah, why not? But yeah.
You had a question for Delana that turned out to be appropriate for a birder.
Mm-hmm. Do we want to get into this now?
We should be starting the actual recording in 5 minutes, but we should talk about this because speaking of the notebook to write down your thoughts, you were going to get me up to date on all of this.
All of what?
Unless you don't need me to contribute?
On all of huh?
On
Up to
sourcing these 5-minute answers.
Oh, yeah. I haven't right. I've been brainstorming all these different questions. Like while I'm at work, I think about who are our clients, who are our guests, and what could we ask them. So I just have to write that down, and then we'll have to reach out to them. And I would much prefer a more formal reach out via our joint podcast email kind of thing. The other thing is I will get rather a list of questions from a young classroom.
Yes.
And that's going to be I think a recurring thing, because the teacher used it as a way to engage the kids and get them to think critically. And I was like, I love that. Use us. Absolutely. That's what we're here for. And so she kind of whittled down the questions to 8. So there are currently 8 questions, but there are more in the future. And so
when this comes out, I should just offer her class a free author visit. This is all about the questions you come up with when you spend time outside and how you find answers.
If you would, sorry, it's called If You Go Walking. Yeah. I'm gonna write that down right now because I may or may not run into this person on a whim. She also said it might be great for us to go and do an episode in the class. And I was like, ooh, there are liability issues, but I love the idea.
But if we get permission slips.
So we can maybe. Yeah. So it's a possibility. And what we could do is if we sit there, the two of us behind, this microphone in front of me here, and then have them come up, speak into the mic and ask their question. And then we'll talk, absolutely. Or we can just like walk over to them with the mic. And yes. So the point is, there are options. There's also some connections with some libraries that we need to talk about. I am almost at a point where I can commit. It's almost the end of the season, and then my winter client is going to be on vacation, and in that 3-week period, I will have time to do my invoices, my receipts, my taxes, and then commit to all of this.
I need to do that.
Oh, I know. Hey, guess what? We're running a lot longer than we usually do. I need a bit of a water break before we get started. And I will see you. I would say, can you give me 10, 15 minutes? Is that okay?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
So.
And to our people who are watching, and probably just my mother-in-law, hi, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Feel free to send me a text and say hi. I heard you, because then I'll know that you watch this. Anyone else, if you're watching, you can send us all of that stuff. You can reach out to us at plantsalwayswin.com. You can send us your questions, comments, garden photos. Although I realized you actually can't send photos via the website because that's simply a contact submission form. but
Oh, I
you can
wonder if we
follow. We might be able to make adjustments to allow photo or attachments or something. But in the
Yeah.
meantime, you can follow us on social media, ask your questions, and maybe DM us on one of the social media platforms with some photos, or join our friendly Discord where we like to talk about gardening and crafts. And I rant sometimes. I do a lot of ranting. I'm sorry. And yeah, go get your hands dirty. Is there anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. We need a better intro or pre-show sign off. I got nothing.
We say that every week, and we
I know.
never deal with it.
A good pre-show
Here's looking at you,
has
kid.
Oh no, the baby goats are back. Okay, bye.